James Twin for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable true school sports empire, and y'all know the rest. Now listen, man, this is my very early in the morning post-fight review for Johnny Beck versus Andrei Mikhailovich, and your result of the fight is a Johnny Beck 9th round stoppage. Now, Andrei Mikhailovich talked a very good game coming into this fight, and I was hoping he'd pull it off. I feel like the middleweight division needed a personality and a character like Andrei Mikhailovich, because really and truthfully, this division right now is historically terrible, and this fight actually kind of validated those thoughts even more, that this division is historically terrible because, you know, early in the fight, first 2 rounds, Johnny Beck was just absolutely having his way with Andrei Mikhailovich. It became very clear very early in the fight that Andrei Mikhailovich could not live with Johnny Beck on the inside or at mid-range, from the outside. Any space that Johnny Beck had to maneuver and to operate, he was going to hurt this kid and hurt him bad, and he did. He wound up dropping him in the 2nd round. Mikhailovich did the best he could to stay up until he got dropped towards the end of the 2nd round. And Johnny Beck kind of let him off the hook. He was taunting him, and he was playing with his food, and he decided to not knock him out in the 2nd round. And what did it do? It allowed a very determined fighter like Mikhailovich, who was clearly outgunned in every department that requires having range in your opponent. So Mikhailovich slowly, he wasn't like, the fight wasn't competitive in terms of rounds scored, but he was able to, he made an adjustment. He started to, you know, close the gap, make things very sloppy, make things ugly. And eventually, you know, he had overcome the early storm from Johnny Beck, and he was in the fight in terms of, you know, not being knocked out, but he wasn't in the fight in terms of being competitive, if that makes sense. Andrei's punches were not sharp enough on the inside to do anything to Johnny Beck. He was telegraphing everything he threw. So I think the fight went, you know, it went to the 9th round. I think Johnny Beck had to expend a lot more energy than he had to because he got arrogant. So the fact that Johnny Beck, who was levels better than Mikhailovich from a skill standpoint, the fact that he went 9 rounds with him when he had him hurt in the 2nd round, it's actually an indictment on this division how bad it is right now. Johnny Beck is a good fighter. I like him, and I've liked him for many years. But I've seen it too many times in these fights, like with Denzel Bentley, and now this fight. Vaughn Alexander early in his career, he's beatable. He's a very beatable fighter. And if this division wasn't so historically bad right now, I think he would have been lost already, because everyone, all of his fights, Bentley, this fight, it's clear to see that he really can't fight on the inside. So the first middleweight that he fights that could actually really maneuver and fight and be a sharp punch on the inside, he's gonna lose. But that being said, he retains the belt. Mikhailovich really, he talked a good game, but he couldn't fight a quarter of as good as he could talk. That's just the cold hard truth. His style in this fight, to me, it reminded me a lot of, if you guys remember, David Light versus Brendan Glenn. A very ugly fight, a lot of holding, a lot of grappling and things like that. One of the ugliest fights I've ever covered here on this channel was David Light versus Brendan Glenn. And funny enough, of course, his style reminds me of David Light. He has the same trainer as David Light, which is Isaac Peach. So something about these guys that are trained by Isaac Peach, I got nothing against Isaac Peach. I'm sure he works hard in the gym. I respect him as a guy that contributes to boxing in New Zealand. But I'm just saying, I'm seeing a pattern with his fighters. They don't have like the skills on the outside or mid range. They're just really sloppy, physically strong guys that grind you down and wear you out, which is no problem with that. There's a place and time for that. But it's ridiculous. But that being said, Johnny Beck retains the titles. Johnny Beck is he's calling out the champions. He wants to fight Lara. He wants to fight Adames. So, look, this division sucks. There's not a whole lot going on. So either he needs to fight Lara or Adames, or he needs to fight Hamza Shiraz. Those are the only 3 fights I want to see him in. Anything else, I mean, I would like to see him fight Ian Green, who I know is a very good fighter, signed a Don King. But you know, right now he's got some things he's dealing with, so that's not realistic. But yeah, man, that's really my takeaway from the fight. My takeaway from the fight isn't that Mikhailovich wasn't gonna fight as good as he can talk. I kind of expected that, My takeaway from the fight wasn't that, Johnny Beck is this boogeyman and this king. My takeaway from the fight is that this middleweight division is historically trash. It's historically bad right now. And we need a big fight in the division. We need either a big fight in the division, or someone from 54 got to move up to 160, or someone with some sort of personality has to come and inject some life into the division. And that's why I wanted Mikhailovich to win, because he has that personality. But again, he got a first-class education tonight on what the world-class top level of boxing is all about. And right now, in his present form, he is very tough. I give Andrei all the credit in the world. Andrei Mikhailovich is tough as nails. He's got balls down to his ankles, but Andrei Mikhailovich, you can't just win fights at the top level with just balls and all that. So you need to have skills. You need to have, the ability to fight from mid-range, outside, inside. You need to know how to feint. You need to know how to tighten up your punches on the inside. There's a lot of things that he really lacks. And thankfully for him, he's one of the more braver and tougher fighters I've seen in a long time. So for what he didn't have in skills, he made up for it heaps with his toughness and his bravery, and that's what got him to the 9th round, because it sure as hell wasn't his skills from mid-range or the outside. He didn't have those to compete with Johnny Beck. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. I cannot believe I stayed up till 4 in the morning to watch this fight, but that's what we do here on True School Sports. That's why this is the home of boxing. But, yeah, what did you guys make? I don't really feel like this is any reason Johnny Beck should not be celebrated for going 9 rounds to Andrei Mikhailovich. He's a much better fighter than him, and he had him out in the 2nd round, and he willingly chose to taunt him and not knock him out, and he wound up being in an actual fight with this guy when he was way better than him. So I think it's an indictment on the middleweight division, this fight. I think we need to get down to business. I don't care who it is. If it's Adamas, that'd be great, because they got history from sparring that we always hear about. If it's Lara, that'd be great, because he's the oldest champion in boxing, and I want to see if Johnny Beck can beat a guy like Lara, a big name. And Lara got to fight. Lara's another one. Lara ain't been fighting nobody either. He's been fighting what's that guy's name? Thomas Lamana, Michael Sarafa, now Danny Garcia. He's barely been fighting guys in the damn weight class. So, yeah, honestly, the word I will use for the middleweight division at this moment in time is that, it's pretender. I think there's a lot of pretenders in the division. We don't really know how good anybody is. We don't know how good any of the champions are, because they're not really fighting anybody worth fighting, and they're not fighting each other. So, and on top of that, it's just very thin in terms of talent. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the fight, honestly. Entertaining fight. It had an exciting beginning and an exciting end, and we got to see what the courage and bravery in boxing is all about from Andrei Mikhailovich. But in the end, Johnny Beck's just too fast, too skilled, too big, too quick, too experienced, too good, and that's why he lost how he lost. So yeah, back to the drawing board. Hopefully, I'll say it like this, and I said it on Twitter. This division right now is so terrible. It's so bad that Andrei Mikhailovich doesn't even need to improve. He can stay how he is right now, and I guarantee you he can probably get a title shot within another year. That's how bad this division is. So I'm going to leave it at that, but you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. I want to see Mikhailovich improve. I like to see fighters improve, so hopefully he grow from this and work on the weaknesses he did have. And for Johnny Beck, it's not, again, like I said in my last video, it's not completely his fault. But man, Top Rank gotta start overpaying some guys to get in the ring with this guy, because it is just so ridiculously terrible. The guys he's having to fight, like Danny Dignum, like Andrei Mikhailovich, like Vincenzo Gutierrez. But granted, Gutierrez was a champion. I'm just saying that's how bad this division is. That even the champions are worse than some of the contenders, the low level contenders, the fringe contenders. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I won't make it too much more longer than that. But let me know what you guys think. What did you guys make of Johnny Beck versus Andrei Mikhailovich? Do you guys agree with what I'm saying? Do you guys think I'm being a hater? I'm not being a hater. I like Johnny Beck. I just think that, he's got one clear flaw, which is that he has a hard time fighting on the inside. It's just that the guys that try that against him don't have the skills to actually follow through on it. I don't know who does. I mean, y'all could tell me who you think that fits that description, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Canterfield, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.